extension. The deal is worth $44 million, but with incentives could be worth up to $47 million. As reports say, Taylor gets $39 million guaranteed in the 2-year extension. Packers running back Josh Jacobs set out practice today with a groin injury. Buccaneers GM Jason Light weighing in on the Baker Mayfield non-contract extension, saying they think he's a franchise quarterback, and there is a possibility they use the franchise tag on him next offseason. As for Vita Vea, who has requested a trade, Light said the team has been in contact with his agent and that the discussions are at least a good sign. Angels topped the Orioles today 4-1. Reds down the A's 6-5. Mets took care of the Guardians 13-6. Brewers beat the Pirates 5-2. Blue Jays lead the Cubs in the ninth 2-0. Tigers on top of the Mariners 4-0 in the third. I'm Dan Beyer.
Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is the Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Howdy, Wichita. It is the Press Box on KGSO 1410, 93.9. In the Renewal by Anderson Studios, Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka. Give us a call on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. That's 316-522-1410. Of course, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Drop your comments. Watch shows back if you missed them. Oh, my goodness. Here we got a good show today. We're going to talk this NFL Hall of Fame game. We finally have some football tonight. I cannot believe it. I'm hyped up. We might actually start the show talking a little basketball here with the Paul Mills extension. The details have came out. We'll cite a story from our good buddy Taylor Eldridge from the Wichita Eagle. I got to talk a little Major League Baseball here in this show as well. The NL MVP race is heating up. I'm hearing PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, might be the favorite over Shohei Ohtani. There was some other stuff with pitching celebrations last night as well we can get into. Felix Johnson will join us around 5 o'clock. We'll do our Hall of Fame Monitor series today around 5:20. We'll do the tight ends. So we'll be talking about Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gates, a lot of the great names. Other things are out there. Maybe some news with On3 I want to get to. We'll see what we have time for today. Of course, dial us up. So, Sasha Bushka, how you doing, man?
Great. Fired up. Going to be a great show today.
All right, let's do it. Let's go to the phones here to kick off the show. How are you?
How are y'all? Hi, JC.
What's up,
Corey?
We're
great.
Hey, man. How y'all doing? You know, let's get on the Coach Miles extension and stuff. I believe we need to keep him because he done really well last year and everything. He's a good coach. He really is. You know, and everything else. I believe, you know, they want to keep him because he knows how to do it, you know. I would like to see your comments about that.
Corey,
what do y'all think about it?
I think he's definitely deserved the extension. This takes him out through 2031. There's some number details we're going to dive into here in a sec, but I think with the talent he's been able to bring in and then retain, I think it's kind of a no-brainer here. Yeah. I'm just really excited to see how Paul Mills' system kind of tweaks a little bit. You got to maybe change a few things with Friesen in, Giles out, a couple other wings, a couple of the big vent, but this should be an exciting team here in 2027.
I think in terms of the contract, right, the biggest question when it came out that there was an extension was why now? What's the timing? The details of the extension came out today, and it's very clear. There's one number that you need to know as to why now, and it's the buyout, right? It would have been he could have left without anybody paying anything after this year prior to the extension. Now it'd be like a $1.25 million buyout, and that's why they did it. If they have the year they're expecting to have, they want there to be some skin in the game for him having to pay a sum if he leaves.
Right.
Oh, yeah. JC, I'm talking about that running back from Atlanta. He got a 3-year extension on his extension to be a player. for
Bijan
Atlanta.
Robinson, man, very talented.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy how the scales work with the contracts depending on position. People were pointing out, hey, Zay Flowers is making like $10 million more per season than a Bijan Robinson. But hey, running backs are running backs. They kind of get the short end of the stick around the NFL landscape. And I'm just wondering, kind of counting down the moments until we see Jahmyr Gibbs sign as well.
Yeah, their coach were talking about that this week, and he said they hope to have Miles sign before the season starts and stuff. And I believe he'll get it done because he's just a good stout player for Detroit, and he needs to where he can stay focused on the football game and everything. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank
Absolutely,
y'all.
Thanks for
Corey.
the call, Corey.
Thank you very
bye-bye.
much. We may have had someone else locked in. Now's your chance to call back 522-1410. We got a lot of details here with the numbers, and Sasha, kind of as you said, with the Mills extension, the details here, it kind of all surrounded the chance where, hey, maybe Paul Mills wants to leave. You kind of want to have that buyout clause to protect the university.
Yeah, I think that's the key in this whole extension. He got a little extra money on the back end, and it does increase the amount that Wichita State would have to pay to fire him, too. So it kind of cut both ways there. But they just they kind of gave themselves some insurance against a great season this year because you want to be able to retain Paul Mills if that happens.
Paul Mills set to make up to $10.22 million over the next 5 years. So with that, let's go back to the phone lines courtesy of Maximum Outdoor Equipment. How are you?
Hey, this is Dakota.
What's up, Dakota?
What up?
So one of my friends bid $1,000 for
Whoa.
on the Royals to win out. If I don't know what his plan was, but he thinks,
Hold on. To win? What do you mean win out?
yeah, win every game.
Win every game the rest of the season?
And you're saying someone put $1,000
Well,
on that?
he lit $1,000 on fire right there. So I don't even know how's it. I don't even know if that would be possible to make that bet. That's like a 30-game parlay or however many games are left in this. It's like a 50-game parlay of the Royals winning every game. I don't think that's possible.
That would break the record. Oh, my goodness. I think someone's giving you a hard time, Dakota.
Oh, no, I don't know if he's drunk or something else, but I want to take that bet.
I think the bet, maybe more realistic, although it's not even realistic, would be for the Royals to make the playoffs, but they are around 20 games under. Look, you've won 2. I said in my sports report, you're 2-2 here in the month of August. You have a chance to sweep the Twins tonight. Bobby Witt's back. I still don't think the vibes are very high for this season.
Making the playoffs is not possible either. They're 9 games out of the last wild card spot, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that would have to jump. So even if they got super hot, there'd have to be 7 teams they'd have to jump. Everybody else would have to start losing a lot of games, and they all play each other. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. There is no chance for the Royals to make the playoffs.
We might see the Royals start calling guys up and just give other dudes some chances here late in the season.
Yeah, and I'm ready for that Hall of Fame game tonight.
Yeah, that should be fun, right? It's football.
Let's
kind
go.
of starting in earnest. You've got Carson Beck versus
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. So I guess it's like a mid-level ACC game. But
Wow. Arizona has looked atrocious. I saw like a whole compilation of their practice film come out, and it looks bad. I have quite the optimistic view from my Panthers side. I think we win tonight.
that's not a knock on the Panthers. I'm just saying these 2 quarterbacks starting is like a mid-level ACC game in the middle of the season, especially with it being this early in camp. Like these teams they're going to play all second stringers at the start, and it'll be third and fourth stringers by the end. And it's their extra preseason game, right? They'll still have 3 besides this one. So we're not going to see a whole lot of starters on the field tonight.
That's all.
All right. Thanks, Dakota.
All right, Dakota. With that said, Sash, I do think that pro
It's still
football is
football,
pro football.
right? It's still football, right?
You roll out that team. That
First
team's
game we've
probably
seen since February.
You get pro-level guys who have been out of college for a year or two. I still think those teams could, fare well in college football.
Oh yeah,
do great.
That's just more of a joke on like the level of talent on the field. They'd still be better than college teams.
Kenny Pickett might not last too much longer
for the most part, right? Like you're talking about a lot of undrafted guys that are going to be playing in this game tonight, and your best college teams have a lot of guys that get drafted. So maybe that'd be a conversation worth having. The conversation of like the best college team versus an NFL team is never a good one, but maybe the Hall of Fame game rosters versus a college team would be a good conversation.
All back fresh off a national championship appearance. So here, getting back to the Paul Mills details with the contract extension, he was originally going to be just through the 2028 season. The 3-year deal takes him out to 2031. The university kind of gets a little bit of a protection. What's the protection here for Paul Mills, kind of long-term? I'm seeing the guaranteed money, of course, a little bit different from the actual money he is set to make. It's not a whole lot different. We'll kind of get specific here. The 2029 season, he's going to make $2.039 million. 2030, he will make $2.164. He'll make $2.314 in 2031, the final year, and the guarantees include 1.6, 1.7,
Honestly,
1.8.
it's a modest raise, really, but it does give some protection to Paul Mills. The 2 years that are left are going to kind of, the compensation is going to stay the same as what they were. So I think this reflects the fact that he hasn't taken them to the promised land yet, right? So we're not going to give you a huge raise, but we're going to give you an extension. We're going to guarantee you 3 more years. If they have a great year this year and make the Sweet 16, he could get another extension this offseason. But what it does is basically it allows for a buyout for Wichita State. And for Paul Mills, it adds in some language where if he gets fired without cause, right? Fired without cause, WSU is going to basically owe him 100% of his contract. Unless it's later in the contract, then it'd be 75% of his contract. Now, the difference between this and what happened with Isaac Brown and Greg Marshall, where they had to pay out all those buyouts, is if Paul Mills were to lose his job at Wichita State, he would get another job. And there's offset language. And so if Wichita State fired Paul Mills, he has to diligently pursue other employment opportunities. And whether that be broadcasting, an assistant coaching job, a lower level head coaching job, any money that he made at another job would offset how much WSU has to give him. So it adds some security for Paul Mills. It adds some security for Wichita State. Good for all parties involved. Sets him up for this upcoming season.
And then there's another clause in the contract that's dependent sort of on a few accolades that he could achieve. I believe it's winning the conference tournament. He would get an automatic 1-year extension.
Yeah, so there's obviously incentives in the contract, which he can get some extra money each year. But there's one notable big incentive, which is it's any one of the 3, if he does this, 25 regular season wins, regular season conference championship, or a conference tournament title. Any of those 3 trigger a automatic 1-year extension, which would make it a 6-year deal. However, you can only get that once. So, like, if he goes out and wins 25 games this year, that'll add 1 year to the end of his deal. But he can't just do that the next year and keep adding 1 year every single year. It would just happen one time. And honestly, if he does any of those 3 things this year, like if he wins the regular season conference or 25 games, that's a hell of a season. If he wins the conference tournament, that means an NCAA tournament appearance. They would be looking at extra years anyways if he does any of those things. So I think it's a pretty safe thing to add a trigger to give an extra year if that happens.
So when it comes to contracts, right, what I know about contracts in sports, certain leagues you have restrictions on how long you can extend someone. Baseball, it feels like we've seen some deals that are just astronomical, right? With coaches, how far out can you truly extend someone? How long of a deal? I don't think it benefits the university to give someone a 10-year deal.
They give lifetime contracts to some of these coaches sometimes. Like I think Greg
Famers,
Marshall's final deal was a rolling contract. They just added a year at the end of every year, so he always had 7 years out in front of him. And they've done that. They did that for Bill Self, I think, at one point. So, yeah, some of these guys have rolling contracts where they just get a new year at the end of every year, and then obviously at some point, if you outperform that even, then they could rip it up and do a whole new one. But with these coaches, right, there's no limit on how long they can go, and they like to have the security. And honestly, the universities, I don't think mind it either, because if they're giving that security where the guy's always got 7 years in front of him or always 5 years in front of him, well, that makes the buyout big too, right? Yeah. Which means if somebody else comes to get him, they got to pay a big sum of money to get him. And so it kind of cuts both ways where, hey, if we fire you, we're going to owe you a lot of money. But if you leave, you're going to owe us a lot of money. And both parties kind of have that handshake that let's just keep doing this together for as long as possible.
Kind of in this portal era, right, with NIL, the turnover's high in college sports. And I feel like it could be tough for coaches to kind of, put out to their fan base, hey, this is our identity. Here's my calling card as a coach. I think maybe the calling card so far with Paul Mills is that he's able to adapt to his roster. Right, I think recruiting is certainly a huge plus. When you got a Kuzner alongside you with AAU connections, I think that's a wonderful duo there leading WSU to the promised land. I think he works well with guards. I think that's probably what sticks out to me the most specifically. Kenyon Giles wanted to come here. Kenyon Giles having a great season here, and then Jordan Friesen following him up here for this upcoming season. I expect him to be sort of in the running, maybe just right outside of the running for Player of the Year in the American. Of course, maybe a Dylan Battie is somewhere in that conversation. A few weeks back, we were projecting, hey, maybe 4 players could possibly make an all-conference team here when you factor in a Will Berg as well as a TJ Williams potentially. Is there anything to you that sticks out with Paul Mills, kind of as I'm thinking about more and more? I think leading up to the season, we hear a lot about the physical nature of these practices. I think the rebounding also sticks out to me as something that's been dominant, proven in the stat sheet here in the Paul Mills era. Anything that sticks out to you that's like a Paul Mills mainstay?
Well, I'll elaborate on the works well with guards thing. I think that's really important at this level of college basketball, at the AAC, Valley, A10 level, because the reality is there's a lot of good guards that play basketball and go play college basketball, and you need to be able to make them the stars of your team. Because if Shaquille O'Neal comes out of high school, right, he's not coming to Wichita State. Sorry. Like if a 7-foot athletic guy comes out, they're going to Kentucky, they're going to the SEC, they're going to the Big 12, they're going to the Big 10, right?
We get the transfer versions
and
of
so
that.
you can get serviceable big men that play good like even in the 2012 to 18 version of the Shockers where they made the tournament every single year. I said it just the other day. Somebody asked me for my top 5 Shockers, kind of like starting 5, and I said like they haven't had that many like great centers come through. It's because like really athletic 7-foot guys command the market. And so you have to be able to turn guards that are kind of diamonds in the rough into the stars of your team and then get big men who can rebound, play defense, and complement the guards. So I think that's an important attribute for a coach in the American Athletic Conference. And so I like to see that about Paul Mills. I think like he's a good offensive coach, but he's proven to be like the Shockers were a great rebounding team last year, and that's something that Wichita State fans love, is a team that can get after it and rebound. I think like some of the things that people have questioned about Paul Mills is like the demonstrative nature on the sideline, kind of the toughness, like that grit factor. But when you look at the way his teams play, they do play with it, right? They play with toughness, they play with grit, they rebound the basketball. He just doesn't show it in the same way on the sideline as some other coaches do. And so I think he has a different way of going about it, and fans are getting used to it, right? Because they're used to seeing a guy go crazy on the sidelines, and that's what they grew accustomed to. And I think Paul Mills kind of bought into that a little bit last year. You'd see him try to get the crowd going a little bit at times when they had good home crowds, and kind of like when there was a good run for Wichita State, he'd kind of play into the crowd a little bit because he can feel in the arena that's what the fans want from a coach around here. And so I think he's growing into his role as the Wichita State head coach in terms of what fans expect. And I think fans are growing into like the way Paul Mills coaches, right? As long as if he wins 24 games every year, 25 games and up, people don't care what style he coaches with. They're just going to be happy that Wichita State's winning a lot of games.
Right, you mentioned maybe the lack of talent with the true center position here as you get kind of farther down in the conference rankings of college basketball. Yes, I mean your 5 stars, your 4-star centers go to the big schools, but we have been able to get the foreign-born transfers from big-time programs like a Quincy Ballard from a Florida State. Of course, you get a Wilberg from Purdue. That's massive. I wonder if Paul Mills continues to kind of explore the overseas route. I maybe say continue. He didn't really last year, but in the 2025 season, they brought over Matej Bozniak, who really only had 1 season. He was out of Croatia. Didn't really do a whole lot with the program, so I don't know if that is an avenue that he explores here going forward with a big man spot, but it does seem like the talent pool for the guards here in conferences like the A10 and the American XYZ is still pretty loaded. So,
and one of the things when we're talking about a contract extension too that I'll bring up is you want to see how that stacks up within your conference, right, in terms of total compensation. And I'm trying to do some research on that. It's a little harder to find than you would think, but I think this makes him. I think he's on the upper echelon of paid coaches in the AAC, and the reason that's important is that budget for your coach, right? In case Paul Mills does leave someday, if it becomes like he does so well that he has to leave, you want to have a budget in place to attract the next coach and kind of get who you want in terms of a high-level coach for your conference. So I think that's something to keep an eye on, too, as things progress over the next couple of years is Paul Mills one of the highest-paid coaches in the conference? And you always want to be near the top of that level in your conference.
Memphis may just have a budget that's tough to compete with.
Yeah,
Penny Hardaway,
I don't think you're going to be the top dog, but after
right.
Memphis, you could be up there.
So Hardaway had a 6-year extension that's going to run through 2028. It was up to 16.5, and Paul Mills is for basically from this moment forward 5 years for $10 million and some change.
Yeah, his average annual is what I'm seeing was about 2.8. Paul Mills by the end of this deal will be at about 2.4 if he gets that extra year trigger, so it's not too far off.
I think Paul Mills X's and O's has proven to be over the last year or two the better coach than Penny.
Yeah.
We'll talk Hall of Fame game and an MVP race in Major League Baseball on the other side.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Phil's Coins and Bullion, Kansas's premier bullion dealer.
Do you need to get rid of some jewelry? Don't waste any time and stop by Phil's Coins and Bullion today. Phil's Coins will give you top dollar for any of your unwanted jewelry. Whether it's gold or silver, get the most out of the unwanted jewelry in your drawer and do it with Phil's Coins and Bullion, 9344 West Central Avenue.
Phil's Coins and Bullion, Phil'sCoins.com.
Football is here, and we are all excited to celebrate at Quincy's Bar and Grill. Quincy's Bar and Grill is packed full of TV, so you won't miss any of the action of your favorite team.
Whether it's college or the NFL,
you can catch it all at Quincy's Bar and Grill, the longest-running sports bar and grill in Wichita. While you're there, grab a cold one with friends or grab something to eat from the great Quincy's Bar and Grill menu. Thursday through Sunday, you can catch your favorite football team at Quincy's Bar and Grill, 2047 Northwest Street, and online at quincy'sofwichita.com.
KGSO Studio, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Expert installation done right. Right on schedule. Find them online at renewalbyanderson.com. Keep sports talk trendy. This is Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
enjoying the tunes, but this is a sports talk format station. 1410 93.9, the SC Wichita app. Download that sucker in the App Store of your phone. KGSO.com here in the Renewal by Anderson Studios. Expert installation done right on schedule. Jay-Z, Sasha B, talking a little Wichita statements, basketball, Paul Mills extension. Oh, dude, that always brings a smile to our face. Let's move on here. Let's go to the NFL Hall of Fame game. Sasha, I think I'm actually going to tune my TV into this one tonight. I'm going to cue it up. And look, I know there's a lot of jokes that circulate with the Hall of Fame game. You see the highlight posted every once in a while, that fake punt that I think the Oilers or whatever uniform they were repping, they took to the house. There's been some fun plays we see in the Hall of Fame game. In terms of like notable talent, it's not going to be a ton. It's kind of like what you could make of, it doesn't really exist, but a minor league NFL game. This is kind of that. But hey, man, it's my Carolina Panthers. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Two teams that, well, have a player go into the Hall of Fame. Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, two all-time greats in their respective positions. We've, of course, been talking Hall of Famers throughout the week. Here, second hour, probably around 5:20, we'll talk about some of the tight ends today, maybe in the running to get in later this decade. Some guys who are already established with the gold jacket. But Sasha, man, I'm excited to see some football in store tonight. We're going to see how the backups look out there for each side. And I think Carolina's going to do this, man. I think they have the depths of the roster, 1.5-point favorites. Anything you're
Are you a sicko?
What do we think we're going to see tonight?
Are you a sicko?
That's what I meant to say.
Are you going to bet on this game? Are you being a sicko?
I haven't really bet on anything.
If you bet on NFL preseason, especially the Hall of Fame game, you are a sicko. But I know some sickos. Somebody will do it. They always say hammer the under in the preseason. I could sit here and analyze what we're going to see tonight. We're going to see a bunch of backups play football, right? Carson Beck will get his opportunity, and I know this isn't a big deal to us, but to him, right, like he gets the chance to start in a game and show what he's got. And right, the reality is the Cardinals don't really have a good quarterback on the roster.
Nope.
They don't have an NFL starting quarterback on the roster, and so he might get a chance to play at some point this season, and it starts tonight with him trying to show it. Kenny Pickett's a clear-cut backup that at least he's trying to keep his career going, and so it's not as big a deal for him, right? He's got a lot of NFL film out there, but Carson Beck doesn't. So it's a big deal to the players who are playing in the game. It's a big deal just for the kind of pomp and circumstance and getting ready for the induction ceremony and all of that. And it's NFL football for the first time in about 6 months, so some people will be excited about it.
I think this is going to get decent ratings, man. The NFL offseason. Oh, dude, you got to wait quite some time because, yes, you do have the Super Bowl in February, but a lot of teams are eliminated a month prior to that, heading into the postseason. And so, yeah, you're looking at like 7-8 months for the majority of NFL teams before they finally get around to playing a preseason game. And, of course, the real schedule starts in September. The NFL season, man, it goes by quickly. I remember kind of doing our series, doing power rankings, things like that. From week one, all of a sudden it's your team's bye week midseason. You're nearing the playoffs. It can go fast, so I'm going to appreciate it while we have it starting tonight with a Hall of Fame game. I'm seeing the total. You mentioned the low scoring here historically of the Hall of Fame game. It is 34.5. Yeah. Minus 110 on each side. The Panthers are minus 120 on the money line. I think we get it done tonight. But Carson Beck maybe is one of the most touted players in this contest. Guys, he played 6 years of college football. You would not survive the 5-to-play-5 rule here in this current day and age. That included 5 seasons at Georgia. 1 was a red shirt. 2 years where he was really just on the bench for those championship teams with lethal defenses and Stetson Bennett. And then, look, he went to Miami, had a lot better of a season than anyone thought he was going to. Yes, there was a ton of talent around him. When you got a Tony at wide receiver, the young freshman, you got a defense like Bain and those boys on the other side. That team was loaded, but hey, getting Miami to the championship game, people really didn't see that coming, especially at one point midseason there out of the ACC. I think Beck has some talent. I think there's a real world where he gets legit snaps later in the season. because there could be some things that happen to Jacoby Brissett.
I don't see Carson Beck as an NFL starting quarterback. I think he might get some starts for the Cardinals this year. Although Brissett's a professional, right? So the only reason Beck's going to get starts late in the year is going to be because the Cardinals lose too many games and they just see what they have, right? Yeah. And they'll see that they don't have anything, and then they'll go draft a quarterback next year in the draft. I don't see Beck ever materializing into a regular NFL starting quarterback. But hey, that's the point, right? You try to prove people wrong. And things like that. We've seen plenty of third rounders and later who have, right? Dak Prescott was a fourth rounder, and he started his rookie year and won 13 games. Same with Russell Wilson, third rounder, started his rookie year and went to the Super Bowl, if memory serves. Or it might have been his second year that he made the Super Bowl, but they won a lot of games with him as a rookie. And obviously, famously, Tom Brady, a sixth rounder. So that it can come from anywhere. I just think like what we saw out of Carson Beck throughout the course of his career was he had a ton of talent around him no matter where he was, right? Whether it was Miami last year or Georgia before, and he could have done more. Now, with Miami going to the championship game, I guess you could argue that he couldn't have done too much more there. But they lost a couple of games they shouldn't have during the regular season. They got hot in the playoffs, and it was largely on the backs of other people. But it'll be interesting to see what he has tonight, right? And then Arizona, obviously, they have to, like, Jacoby Brissett will probably start when the season starts. They gave him a new deal and everything. But there's no guarantees that Jacoby Brissett is a better option than Gardner Minshew. Mm-hmm. And so that's the other thing is even if a guy gets injured, Beck's going to be the clear-cut third-string guy on this team.
You mentioned Carson Beck. Keaton Slovis, I think, maybe gets some run here in the second half. He's the fourth stringer I'm seeing for the Cardinals on Our Lads. You might see a little bit of Haynes King. If you remember Haynes King out of Georgia Tech at all, the quarterback, the backup there for Kenny Pickett in tonight's game. Will probably get some run in the second half. I think King can run the football a good amount.
I'm sure he can if he played at Georgia Tech.
I wonder if we see Jonathan Brooks, the former Texas running back, who will kind of had back-to-back ACL injuries, one in college and then one sort of immediately upon return for the Panthers late in 2024. He missed the entire 2025 season. And maybe just like for a mental reset, kind of getting him prepped for real football again before the real season. I do think getting Jonathan Brooks a couple snaps tonight.
The Panthers are putting some stock in Jonathan Brooks this year, right? They let Rico Dowdle go out the door to Pittsburgh, and so you got Chuba as the starter, but like Chuba's not going to take every snap at running back this year for the Panthers. So Jonathan Brooks is going to have to be a piece for them. And honestly, like the talent is there. Brooks was a relatively high draft pick. For him to overtake Chuba, it's just a matter of like what happens on the field post-injury. And so it'll be interesting to see what kind of juice he has if he does play some tonight.
Real quick recap of our comprehensive coverage series and how we had these teams going here in the 2026 fall season. I had the Panthers going at 10-7. They've accumulated some injuries, but I'm going to stay with that mark. And you have the Panthers at 7-10. That was one of our farthest disagreements there in the comprehensive coverage series. And for the Cardinals, we were spot on here with the 4-13 record, with the X factor being the offensive line.
We might have to revisit the NFC South at some point because I just remember I picked kind of every team to be pretty close to 500, although it sounds like the Panthers a little bit under. I might get a little bit more. I might be a little bit more bullish on the Saints than I was when we picked with them. What record did I give the Saints?
You gave the Saints a 7-10 record.
Yeah, so same as the Panthers, and I think I was like maybe 8-9 with the other two. So I had them all bunched up, but I really could I see it pretty equal for all these teams to win it. I think I picked the Bucks, but the Saints. A lot of people are excited about Jordan Tyson. Chris Olave got a new deal, so if Shuck can build on what he did last year, they could have a decently explosive offense.
You predicted 3 teams in the South to go 7-10, and then your division winner is the Bucks, 8-9.
I don't like the NFC South very much, it sounds like. At least I didn't a month ago.
It sounds like you maybe think Indiana football, the Hoosiers could win a couple games here in the NFC South.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all.
All right. The jokes aside, Hall of Fame game tonight, I believe 7 o'clock for the kickoff. The kickoff. Used to say in tip-off or first pitch, we finally got some football on the turf tonight. All right. we'll shift gears here. Sasha, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball. I know we sort of cover it from the Royals angle, and then every once in a while there's a fight or a suspension or a big-time trade like a Tarek Scoopball. Of course, we're going to have a lot of off-season talks with how these owners and the Players Association are getting along here because it feels like a lockout, at least in some capacities, inevitable for the 2027 season. But I want to kind of direct you to the betting odds a little bit. I don't have them necessarily in front of me, but I did see in this week that PCA had actually overtaken Shohei Ohtani. And as PCA was kind of getting a little bit of hype a few weeks ago, Shohei was still pretty far in the minus, right? You know, even though Shohei kind of at the time had put out the statement, hey, I'm going to be done pitching here for the foreseeable future, or maybe closer to the playoffs, I'll get back on the mound, but Shohei's going to focus on the bats. There was an all-time great game the other day, by the way, as well. I mean, like last night between the Cubs and the Dodgers. But Shohei, you know, went from kind of like a minus 400 to all of a sudden a itty-bitty underdog here to Pete Crow Armstrong. And look, we saw one heck of a baseball game between two MVP caliber guys. I mean, your two favorites there in the NL. Sasha, I got to think that PCA has a shot here, but if Shohei gets back on the mound before the season's over, kind of looking at the slash line, Shohei, I believe has the better on-base percentage, slugging, maybe even batting percentage or batting average overall. I do think this one probably goes to PCA, however, because I think he's got the hype. I think him playing in the field every day helps. I think him leading the Cubs to this record really helps his case at 66-49, and then the Dodgers have been on a losing streak.
Yeah, I think the reality is this is fair, right? Shohei should be getting pushed for the MVP by Pete Crow Armstrong or whoever else is having a great season, because you can't just automatically give it to Shohei because he pitches and hits. He has to do it excellently to get the MVP. And the truth of the matter is he's done pitching at least for a while. He was pitching really well, but it's the worst year he's had at the plate in a while, right? He's at 954 OPS. He was over 1,000 the last 3 years in a row. That's the only stat he leads the league in is OPS, and it's just barely, right? Pete Crow is at 938. Shohei's at 954. So it's really close there. Shohei only has 22 home runs this year, so that his power numbers are way down. He doesn't play in the field, right? So as a DH, you automatically get docked. Now Shohei makes up for that because he pitches, so that kind of takes the dock away. But his offensive WAR, his WAR on that side of the ball is only 3.6. Pete Crow Armstrong's at 7.3. So his defense, like his WAR is way better than Shohei's if you take the pitching out of the equation. His overall WAR, Shohei's is 6.4, still less than Pete Crow Armstrong at 7.3. He plays a really good defensive outfield. He runs the bases. So, like, I think it's going to be a close race, but it's fair that Pete Crow is right there with him because I mean, you can't just automatically give it to Shohei because he plays on both sides of the ball every single year. And so it'll be interesting to watch as the season progresses.
What's disappointing for Shohei bettors is that, look, this was kind of going to be his best pitching season, and maybe not even close. The innings is going to be the big kicker. He's only at 85. He did get to 166 back in 2022. He did finish actually second that season in MVP for what it's worth, but he was fourth in Cy Young, so he was really close to winning it there for the NL MVP. But 2023, he took it home. He pitched 132 innings. He pitched 130 in 2021. He won MVPs in both of those seasons. Of course, won it in 24 and 25. Last year, he had a 104 whip, a 2.87 ERA. This year, he's up to a 9.5 whip, a 1.79 ERA. But honestly, I think he's probably staring at about 100 innings pitched heading into the postseason. They're probably going to give him 3 more starts.
And when you look at the offensive side as well, he has missed some time there as well. He's played 105 games. He has 483 plate appearances. Pete Crow Armstrong has 506. So there's not a huge difference, but but PCA's played 115 games. So it also depends on, does Shohei miss some more games down the stretch, right? Because he's not pitching because of his knee.
Right.
If they kind of rest him a little bit, even on the hitting side down the stretch, then that could be a factor in this race as well. And you mentioned it off the top, but I know like everybody assumes the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, so you assume they're the best team in baseball. And that's great if you think they're going to win in the postseason anyways, but they're not actually the best team in baseball in terms of what they've done this year during the season. That belongs to the Milwaukee Brewers. So Shohei's not leading the Dodgers to this great season that everybody thinks he is.
Right, but you could copy and paste what you just said and apply it to last year. I mean, the Brewers went on a win streak, and
I'm not saying it affects like what you think going into the postseason about who's going to win, but it should affect what you think about awards and things, right? You play the games on the field for a reason. You don't just crown the Dodgers.
Okay, as far as the regular season MVP here, is it more about? I think it's more about PCA and what he's doing right now for the Cubs franchise, as opposed to the lack of pitching success from Shohei, because kind of, if you remember, he had the elbow surgery, major surgery, and it took him a while for him to finally pitch. He did not pitch all of 2024. He does finally so again in 2025, but he has now had the same amount of starts, 14 last year, 14 pitching starts this year. He somehow only had a 1-1 record. So he actually went 47 innings last season. He was
starting a lot and pitching like 1 inning at the start of the game last year, which you can't win unless you pitch 5 innings.
True. He went.
So that's why he was 1-1.
He has an 8-2 record this season, so the wins are certainly up. I don't think there's maybe been quite the drop off in batting success. Of course, slugging, you really see it from 622 last year to 554 this year. You were mentioning the home run totals, 54, 55, and now just 26 here this season. I don't think you'll get to 100 RBIs either. So it's a fair point with Shohei regressing slightly in those categories. But I think when you kind of look at the pitching, it's a reminder, hey, this race being so close is more about Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah.
Just kind of, he's got the fan support behind him. He's statistically maybe the best center fielder right now in the sport. And then you have him lead off, and he's consistently getting on base.
Yeah, it's going to be a close race. And I'll say this, too, just on that conversation about the postseason and whether the Dodgers' regular season record matters for the postseason. I'll tell you something that does matter.
What?
They're on a 6-game losing streak right now. And I know, like, there's ebbs and flows in baseball. But if you can lose 6 games in a row in the regular season, you can get cold in the postseason too, right? And it's all a matter of like 1 month. You've got to play good every series because you can't afford to go on losing streaks in the postseason. So I'm just not crowning the Dodgers yet on this whole deal. They're 2-8 in their last 10. You have that same 10-game stretch in October, and you're done, right? You're gone.
Right.
Even a 5-game stretch, you're gone. And so I'd just be careful with the Dodgers going into this postseason.
Teams can get hot come October. We see it most seasons, right? I will stand pat with my heels in the ground, 10 toes down, that I'm taking the Dodgers over the field. Here's my main reason. Guys, the Toronto Blue Jays really should have won that World Series last year. I think we're going to look back here come November at this 3-year stretch of the Dodgers, probably official dynasty stamp with a 3-peat, and say the Blue Jays had the best shot. The Blue Jays gave them their best run. I don't think another team's going to play in that close.
So you're using the fact that they should have lost last year as a reason that they can't lose this year?
I think look,
backwards logic.
With how clutch that team was down the stretch, I mean, whether it's Muncy, whether it's Freddie Freeman, I mean, Hernandez. It seemed, clutch plays in the outfield.
At least 60% of the guys that they think are going to be pitching for them this postseason aren't pitching right now. That's not good. That's not a good thing. Like, that means all of your starters are injured. They're lucky they got Skubal because he's literally their only healthy starter right now of guys that they think are going to pitch in the postseason. So I'm just saying that's playing with a lot of fire.
If you start talking about pitching, man, this Dodgers lineup is lethal. Yamamoto.
If any of them are healthy, right? Blake Snell's making rehab starts. Glasnow's making rehab starts. Shohei's not pitching. He's not making rehab starts because he's got to be with the big league Cub DH. And so, yeah, Yamamoto and Skubal are great, but are they going to have anyone else to put on the mound?
Ohtani will come through. Yamamoto is unbreakable. I think we're going to see Scooball get up for what's going to be the biggest postseason of his career. Glasnow will come back. Snell
if
can
memory
strike out anybody.
serves, the Seattle Mariners beat Scooball twice last year in the playoffs to advance past the Tigers. So, and then got knocked out by the Blue Jays.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
40 to the 30. The Burgers are on.
High school football is almost here, and your one-stop source for all your high school football is your High School Football Guide from the Mid-America Sports Network. Stay tuned in and hear where you can pick up your copy. Catch each team's season schedule, read about each team and coach, and follow your favorite team all season long. It's the Mid-America Sports Network Football Guide, and it's coming to a location near you.
Wichita Clear Bra, your quality auto spa.
Summer is heating up, and Wichita Clear Bra can get things cooled down for you. The XPEL heat-reducing ceramic tint blocks infrared rays and keeps your car cooler all summer long. Keep your car looking fresh and make it easy to clean with ceramic coating. And don't forget to check out the Wichita Clear Bra detailing services to get the summer started with a fresh ride.
Wichita Clear Bra, your quality auto spa.
Where'd you get that grin? Right above your chin. You know the place. Puts a smile on your face, and he's the one for frozen custard fun. Made fresh every hour. It's your happy power. Top your day with a smile at Andy's.
Did you know my frozen custard is made fresh every hour? Or that our toppings are baked daily right in our stores? It's how we top your day with a smile at Andy's.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Every school pickup line has a main character. Most days, it's the kids. But once a year, a parent pulls up in a brand new Kia Telluride. And suddenly, all eyes are on Mom.
Is that the new one? I heard it comes in a hybrid now. I heard it has heated seats in all 3 rows.
And for a moment, the kids aren't the only ones in the spotlight. This August, let that parent be you. Because Mom deserves to shine too. Or if it's your student's turn to get behind the wheel, find great starter cars like the K4 sedan and K4 hatchback. Plus, you can get 0% financing on brand new Sportage and Sorento models. And every new Kia is backed by our unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Whichever model you choose, we have big savings on great vehicles for that main character energy. Only at Midwest Kia.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
With approved credit, see dealer for details. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty.
Find us online, on Facebook, and on the SC Wichita app. This is Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Oh, what's up, Wichita? Where are you at? Any thoughts on our MLB debates? Dodgers versus the field. Call 522-1410. Looking here at Facebook, Devin Stibe. I think he's going to watch this game tonight. Beck versus Pickett. Pro Pigskin is back. That's the mentality from our Bayou buddy. Of course, I was also looking at some scores today. Wichita wind surge. Got a W last night, 7-6. You had a grand slam. in the later innings to take the lead and win it. Cool stuff. The Surge are still on the road. The Naturals of Northwest Arkansas. They have back-to-back road series, so that's always tough for the fans. Looking to catch them here in Wichita, but next week they'll be returning to Equity Bank Park. We were at Equity not too long ago for the NBC World Series Championship game. So let's take the phone call here in the Maximum Outdoor Equipment Hotlines. You are inside the press box. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I wish I was as astute as Rob Parker. Rob Parker was in baseball. That way I can bring some good baseball takes. But since you mentioned the Dodgers, and it seemed like they're in that class where the rich get richer. Basically, the Dodgers are the new Yankees. The Yankees were the evil empire, if you ask Boston Red Sox fans. But Colin Cowherd had a decent take. A lot of people are saying the Dodgers are going to ruin baseball. But he said the Dodgers are not going to ruin baseball. What it is, these other teams are what the Dodgers want to be. That being said, I want to get your take on that. And that's all my baseball talk, and that's all I have to bring to the show. And I hope it was a good enough take.
Restate that.
He said the Dodgers are not going to ruin baseball. The other teams are what the Dodgers want to be.
Yeah, the Dodgers are driving baseball. They're the only team that's trying to win. It's all the teams that aren't trying to win that are kind of ruining baseball. I think that was kind of his gist.
I totally understand that. You have owners. I think the Pittsburgh Pirates owner kind of gets called out a lot, and Paul Skeens kind of, it feels like he's going to go to a big market. It's inevitable. It seems like for all these guys, I totally agree. Like a salary cap maybe is necessary for a team like the Dodgers, but a salary floor is probably more important for 20 of the 30 clubs.
And I mean, if you look at baseball in the grand scheme, yeah, the Dodgers got the money, so heck, if you can buy it, buy it. But, you know, it's also been another proven deal in baseball that sometimes the highest payroll doesn't always win.
New York Mets have the highest payroll in the league this year, as an example.
That's a point right there. And we've seen teams that don't have the big payroll. Kansas City Royals, we've seen them win it. Granted, they don't do it on a consistent basis, but then you look at teams like the Atlanta Braves over the years, they may not get to the World Series, but they be knocking at the door. So sometimes it's not always about the big money spenders. Sometimes it's about your roster construction and having people in the right places.
Yeah.
So, you know, like you say, stop crying about the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Just do your job as an organization and figure it out.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Anthony.
Thank you.
The problem is the Dodgers are not just rich, they're well run, and that's what's bothering people. But the best argument I've heard against the Dodgers in this whole week, because we've been talking about this a lot, is that they got a better TV deal than everybody else. They got a sweetheart TV deal from the MLB, and that's why they're so rich and have money to spend. If you want to make that argument, I'll listen to it. Anything else, like I think it's just the Dodgers have the best farm system in baseball. They trade their farm system at the trade deadline every year to get new players, and they still always have one of the best farm systems in baseball. That has nothing to do with money. We draft well, we develop well, we create a stockpile of players. They never play for the Dodgers because they always get a proven entity beforehand, but that's just well-run organization.
My issue is that you had arguably one of the most talented teams of all time, and then you added the best pitcher in the league, and so it kind of creates a world where folks are going to roll their eyes at the decision. But last year, I was beating the drum that, and you were here for a lot of that, where this is good for baseball. The Dodgers being the biggest enemy that we've had in a long time, a polarizing team, that's really good for baseball.
That is
a team that's on the verge of a dynasty. I think is really good for baseball also.
I agree with that. And as far as the Tarek Skubal thing goes, though, are the Dodgers supposed to just, our team's already really good, so we're not supposed to try to get better? Every other team had an opportunity to try to trade for Tarek Skubal, and that has nothing to do with money. That has to do I want to part with some minor league players to get this guy? The money's the same for everybody when it comes to Tarek Skubal. So, yeah, you can call it greedy if you want, but aren't you supposed to be greedy if you run a professional sports franchise? You're supposed to get as good as you possibly can to give yourself the best odds to win the World Series.
I have a way of tweeting things out that just grinds the gears of Sasha Bushka.
Yeah. Well, just saying, it's That's not a Dodgers problem. That's an everybody else problem. By the way, the Brewers have a great farm system, too. They should have traded for Tarek Skubal, but they didn't.
That's the team to root for this
I'll root for the
postseason.
Brewers.
Mizorowski, he can only do so much as one man every 5 days. We'll see you at 5 o'clock. Felix Johnson, our old buddy, joins the show.
This is The Herd.
You got to be consistent.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mike check. I think LeBron's sitting there thinking, Minnesota's got a stacked team. Philadelphia, those two teams, that's where you can win a championship. I don't think he's going there. Philadelphia's unbelievable roster. Minnesota, you'd have rim protection. You get Ant. I got LaMelo Ball. I got Jaden McDaniels. I mean, Minnesota with LeBron, would they be the co-favorite to win it?
This is The Herd.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. right here on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you.
If the week's been too hectic to even think about dinner, or your family can't handle one more night of leftovers, then it's time to let Hog Wild do the cooking. Hog Wild's family packs are one heck of a good deal for a complete barbecue meal. Here's Josh Nicolette, Hog Wild partner and general manager at Harry and Rock Road.
When you stop by for a Hog Wild family pack, we'll send you home with all the smoked meats, tasty sides, buns, and sauces you need to feed your family a complete meal. And best of all, family packs are priced right to feed groups of 4, 8, 12, or 16 people.
Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8.
Fire sale at the Black Friday Deals and Discount Store on 47th and Broadway. Truckloads of brand new items from Amazon, Walmart, and Target. But for just $10, nearly everything in the store is on sale for just $10 Friday and $7 on Saturday. Electronics like controllers, laptops, headphones, just $10. Name brand clothing and shoes, Stanley Cups, accessories, all kinds of household items, just $10. Come check out the brand new Ashley furniture for discount price. 120 days, same as cash, $5 down. So don't break your budget and shop today at the Black Friday Deals and Discount Store.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to her favorite pop star's concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel.
B, remember the moment with matching concert t-shirts.
That's gonna be $180. Or we can just take a photo.
C, show her how you used to do concerts.
We're going crowd surfing.
I can't. It's too heavy. Oh my God. Ah.
Or D, just roll with it.
Woo! Justin! Look at us from over here!
Justin! OMG! He just looked. I love you, Justin! I love you!
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Severe flooding from recent hurricanes and other storms has left hundreds of thousands of cars, trucks, and other vehicles unsafe to drive. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap, and a flood title should be issued to that car. But some shady dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect the vehicle before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start. Head over to nicb.org to check it out.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
This is Wichita's sports station, K230PY, 93.9 FM, 1410 AM, and 99.7 HD3. KGSO Belle Plaine, Wichita. Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is The Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Alrighty, hour one into the books. You're listening to the longest running sports talk station here in the ICT, KGSO, 21 years strong. Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka here in the Renewal by Anderson Studios. Download the SC Wichita app. I'm always shouting out Hank FM if you like country, KQAM if you like conservative news talk, and 102.5 La Raza if you know Spanish. Drop your comments on at Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. We'll read them. We'll answer your questions, comments, concerns. Try to make of what Devin's spamming here on Facebook with a bunch of emojis. He's excited for Felix Johnson coming up here on the show. We're going to get to the Hall of Fame Monitor series at the tight ends here in about 25 minutes. We'll talk some Hall of Fame, though, with this guy. Joining us now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines, Felix Johnson from the Let's Talk Ball podcast. Felix, what's up?
Am I a first ballot Hall of Famer? Is that what you were saying?
I think so. Go buy a gold jacket somewhere.
Okay, if I have to buy the gold jacket, then I didn't earn the gold jacket. I don't really want it at that point.
Hey man, they probably got it in your size.
Yeah, I own a green jacket
somewhere.
I own a green jacket, Felix, and it feels just as good as winning the Masters.
So. Okay.
Oh man. We'll get into some Chiefs talk as well. I'm actually seeing some Jahmyr Gibbs news, which is high priority as well. But Hall of Fame game.
Just real quick.
Go for it.
That's probably my favorite running back in the league. Overall,
me too.
That's probably my favorite running back in the league.
We can just go here with Gibbs, man. I think Gibbs is probably going to be a number one overall pick in a lot of fantasy drafts here over the next couple of weeks. And Jahmyr Gibbs has been a touchdown machine. We were looking at the numbers. I think he's got just as many touchdowns between in the air and on the ground as he has games played in the National Football League. The dude is just an absolute terror, a nightmare to these defenses. My only question was, hey, compared to the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson, the Lions kind of have a little bit more of a chance to do some damage in the postseason. They still got a Jared Goff. There's some questions with the defense, but you got Hutchinson looking in full swing. Does Jahmyr Gibbs go on to have maybe the best season of any running back this season? And how much will it make an impact on the Lions' overall year?
Well, and I think it's particularly interesting over the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen running backs have really good seasons after the year that there was we need to unionize as running backs, had the whole running backs only meeting, and Sasha and I know this very intimately from our field vision days of the impact that running backs have on the actual overall of the game that is being played today, and it is kind of a reversion back to the good old 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and we saw the Eagles basically get to a Super Bowl off of that a couple years ago, and the Seahawks just this past year with Kenneth Walker, they ran the ball more than anybody this season, no matter what you want to say about Sam Darnold. And so seeing what the Lions have been able to do, they're right along with that trend over the last couple of years, if not.
Oh, no.
I thought it was just going to be a quick, Felix, we lost you.
That's not good. Oh, no, Felix. Yeah. Felix.
Yeah, I don't know if he can hear us, but maybe I'll text him and tell him to call us back. We'll keep it going with the Jahmyr Gibbs thing for a second while we're waiting on that.
So, Jahmyr Gibbs, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3 years, $67.5 million, could be up to 75.75. And well, you were saying on the annual basis, it's kind of just 0.25
He got
basically
$750,000 over 3 years on both the total possible value and the actual value and the guarantees. He got $250,000 more per year than Bijan Robinson.
And this is kind of funny because I was saying yesterday on the air how maybe you kind of do the Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain thing. You're like, hey, he's making what now? You take it to the front office. I want the same plus $1 more. In this case, it's pretty similar there. Felix Johnson back with us here in the press box.
Yeah, I was just saying with Jahmyr Gibbs at Jamal Charles, and I'm going to make a Chiefs reference here because Isaiah Pacheco and I think Jahmyr Gibbs have the one thing in common that they just run a little bit different than everybody else, and now they're going to be partnered up in the same backfield and given a 1-2 punch. And we'll see if Pacheco's able to reclaim whatever that magic he had those first couple of seasons with the Chiefs before his injury.
Yeah, and listen, from a fantasy perspective, because you guys kind of went there, right, that Gibbs might be 101. It's either him or Bijan. probably going first in most fantasy drafts this year. The guy's already scored a touchdown per game for his career over 3 years, and that's in the Sonic and Knuckles with David Montgomery getting a lot of action for Detroit. I don't think Pacheco fills that role of Montgomery. I think Pacheco is there if Gibbs gets – because if you watch – I've had Gibbs on my team for the last couple of years. If you watch him if you watch those games closely, they were pretty even on snaps. I think Pacheco's more an insurance policy if Gibbs gets hurt, but Gibbs and Pacheco are not going to be close to even on snaps in this offense.
A lot in the red zone Montgomery took from him.
Sometimes, yeah. I think Gibbs got more red zone opportunities than people realized, right? Like, they didn't just take him out when they got to the goal line, but they almost just alternated possessions or alternated series a lot, which was crazy. I mean, he still scored plenty of touchdowns, touchdown a game for his whole career, so, yeah. What do you you think? You like Gibbs or Bijan this year, Felix?
Personally, I like Gibbs, but I think that Bijan offers a little bit in the passing game, a little bit more, but also in that same sphere, which quarterback do you trust a little bit more? Whoever Atlanta's throwing out there or Jared Goff, which imagine that question 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You mentioned a comparison with Jamal Charles. I have another comparison here for Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's a player who's played very recently, but his career did not go according to plan because of a contract dispute. But, guys, you kind of go back into the numbers, and Le'Veon Bell was extremely productive. I mean, his 2016 season, he averaged 106 yards per game on the ground and then 51 in the air. I mean, scrimmage yards of 155 per contest is insane. I think with Knuckles out of the way, so to say, with Montgomery, we could see Jahmyr Gibbs flirt with like 140 scrimmage yards per game. Like, if he does that and the Lions win 13, 14 games, we could see this guy getting like MVP consideration, for crying out loud.
Well, and here's my small problem with what you just said, Jacob. It's that I can't ever really compare anyone to Le'Veon Bell because I've never seen anyone stop behind the line of scrimmage and then continue running for another 14 yards before even being touched. So, I think Le'Veon Bell is just one of those players where it was just like, yeah, he's different than everybody else. He may not go to the Hall of Fame, and we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame here in a second. He wasn't like great like a Larry Fitzgerald or all of these different skill players that are ahead of him in the all-time conversations. But again, I think Le'Veon Bell is just one of those guys that's just like, he did it differently than everybody else. I can't really compare him to anybody else because he doesn't do it like anybody else.
Yeah. I think Bijan and Jahmyr both go over 2,000 scrimmage yards this year. Not on the ground alone, but they both lost the guys behind them, right? Tyler Algier's out of Atlanta. Montgomery's out of Detroit. I think it's big years for both. Speaking of running backs and future Hall of Famers, what does the Kenneth Walker signing mean for the Chiefs?
Whoa.
Sort of the early reports out of Chiefs camp with Kenneth Walker. How does that change their offense?
I mean, I think it automatically changed their offense almost. I mean, aside from when you want to see where things are going, you obviously have to follow the money, but like you have to see where organizations are choosing to spend their money. And with Kansas City, they said, all right, we need running backs. We're going to go get Kenneth Walker, the guy who just ran the ball the most for the Super Bowl champions, and Amari DeMarcado. And I know that he's Amari DeMarcado, but at the same time, he's just like another guy, another healthier body that you can get more miles with. And then also they go into the draft and get a guy in the fourth round like Emmett Johnson, who's able to be a third piece, maybe even in the passing game. And you know Patrick Mahomes is going to need it, especially coming off of the ACL because, like I said last time I was with you guys, he's back week 1. That's almost a guaranteed fact. If I was him, I would guarantee it.
I'll look around the rest of the roster here now that we're on the Chiefs. You mentioned the addition of
The
Kenneth
defense
Walker.
is fantastic. Let's not talk about the secondary.
The secondary? Oh, man.
Secondary is going to be fine.
Oh.
Look at that front seven.
Without McDuffie?
It'll be fine.
Oh, dude. I wanted to go to the wide receivers here, Felix. Give me a prediction on Rashee Rice, man, because Rashee Rice, I feel like there's a world where he could have been a consensus top 10 wide receiver by now, but due to injuries with he and both Patrick Mahomes, I think it's been tough to get to that point. Of course, the off the field stuff is the off the field stuff here. What kind of season do you think Rashee Rice is about to have? Is he about to, kind of get close to numbers that we saw Tyreek Hill have? Is he going to sort of be a completely different cat? Like, what do we see from Rashee Rice here with maybe the line bolstered up a little bit more from Mahomes, and Mahomes is looking a lot healthier than people would have thought?
Well, I think we see a more evenly distributed football this year. I think we see I think we do see a leading receiver, not necessarily Travis Kelce going over 1,000 yards, and I think it is Rashee Rice. I'm not saying he's going to be even a Pro Bowl level player, and we know what the Pro Bowl means in this day and age. And so it is one of those interesting aspects of they're going to play number one receiver by committee, but I think Rashee Rice does fit the category of that. And I think this is the year that he at least get consistent, and whether it be injuries, off the field stuff, whatever else it may be, I think they're going to at least establish this as a year. And when you have an MVP candidate like that at quarterback, then it makes everything a lot easier. So I think we see 1,200 yards, which I know sounds like a great season, but overall that's 65 to 70 yards a game. I think he can do it.
Yeah, Rashee Rice has been on pace for those numbers almost every season, except his rookie one where he came on late, and if you just took the back half of the rookie season, he'd be on pace for that. He hadn't played a whole season since his rookie season, so right. I don't think that's too much to ask. What might be too much to ask is for him to play 17 games, but we'll see how that plays out.
And that's kind of factored into that. That's why it might be 1,100 or 1,200, and so he might only play anywhere between 10 and 15 games. I'm not expecting him to play 17.
How many yards for Kelce this year?
850, but I need 12 touchdowns out of the old man.
12 touchdowns, yeah. That would be nice. He'd be back up to fantasy tight end, top 3 if he got 12 touchdowns. I'd love to see that too.
That's the thing. I don't know. That's the thing. I think we get a 1,500-yard season out of a tight end this year, whether it's Sam Laporta, Colson Loveland, or Brock Bowers. There's a lot of guys that are going to
Tyler Warren,
I think are going to be better than
Trey McBride.
And so, exactly, we just named 5 or 6 tight ends, but even more so, I think they're guys who can truly leg it out. Travis is just going to be a true red zone threat next year, and then have a couple of games where it's he's Travis Kelce once or twice, but it was oh no, relax, take a break.
He had 851 yards last year, so I think you just read off last year's stat line.
I didn't. You know I don't like numbers.
Yeah,
he's got to memorize there.
I got a unique question for you, Felix. Since we were talking about Hall of Fame and we're talking about the Chiefs, we know Mahomes is going to waltz into the Hall of Fame. Same for Travis Kelce. Chris Jones, he's going in too. If gun to your head, I would never put a gun to your head, Felix. But if I made you pick a fourth player on the current Chiefs roster that's going to put together a Hall of Fame career eventually, who is it?
I think you only asked this question because you knew the answer to it.
No, I don't.
You knew exactly what I was going to say.
No, I don't know where you're going to go because I can't
Butker?
think of anyone. It's not Butker. Butker ain't no Hall of Famer.
No.
Yeah.
No. It is a man by the name of Creed Humphrey.
Oh, okay. Go to the offensive line. Yeah,
it.
I wasn't thinking about the offensive line, but that's a good point.
Because who can be the best? Who is the best player at his position, not named Patrick Mahomes, on the Kansas City Chiefs roster currently?
Yeah, it is probably Creed.
It's a toss
yeah.
up between him. It's him or the gentleman who just signed with the Raiders this offseason. I can't think of his name. Who came from the Ravens. Either way. But I think Creed Humphrey, already he's put together 3 or 4 straight seasons of being that guy. He picked up the mantle pretty much in that Super Bowl in his rookie season from Jason Kelce as the best center in the world. Then he retired, and now he's all right, I'm the best center in the world. And now it's a little bit up for debate, but again, it could be reclaimed because there's a season to be played.
Yeah, you were referring to Linderbaum. Sorry, I thought you were talking about somebody else on the Chiefs at a different position, so I was confused there.
No.
All right, I'm going to jump in here, boys. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get the word here in this conversation. Felix, you mentioned the centers. There's only been 7 Hall of Famers ever at the center position, so that could be tough for Creed. I want to ask you about this Hall of Fame game tonight, because I know Sasha really hasn't entertained a real discussion as far as what's going to happen in this game.
Why would I?
But my Panthers are playing football. It's real football in the NFL. It's finally back.
Are we
going to
break down
August.
any other preseason game this year?
We will with the Chiefs, I'm sure, but
we'll break down individual players. Maybe.
Felix, what are you looking forward to tonight's Hall of Fame game? You got Carson Beck, you got Kenny Pickett. Sasha called this like a average ACC game. Which I thought was a little disrespectful. I think my Carolina Panthers are looking a lot better than the absolute travesty that's been the Cardinals right now in camp. Have you been seeing these clips coming out of Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping balls, Trey McBride getting crushed across the middle, quarterbacks inaccurate, XYZ?
When I mentioned we could talk to the Hall of Fame game, I meant the Hall of Fame part of it. I didn't know.
All right. You guys are bad and 0 for 2. I'm disappointed. Felix, I'll pick up there.
All right, wait a second. Jacob, you break down this Hall of Fame game for us then, if that's what we're doing.
I don't think anyone wants to hear about it. We'll maybe react to it tomorrow. Felix, we've been doing this series at 5 o'clock since the comprehensive coverage ended, where I've been looking at the Hall of Fame monitor here on Pro Football Reference, kind of just getting an idea of, all right, who's up, who's going to be on the ballot here pretty soon, who has a chance to kind of close in on a Hall of Fame career. And we've done the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers so far. We're going to get to the tight ends here later. I'll go back to the wide receivers here, because you have quite a bunch here at the top, right? You have Reggie Wayne, who's still waiting to get in, Torrey Holt, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, if I even dare say the name, Steve Smith. There's sort of an average score for a Hall of Famer here on the Hall of Fame monitor. You know, depending on position, it's about 100. For the wide receiver, it's 102. Jerry Rice has a 311 for crying out loud. Kind of as I give you some of those names and maybe think about a Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, make the case for someone that deserves to be in.
You're going to be a little shocked by this, but the old heads out there are going to love it.
Yeah, that's good.
Torrey Holt needs to be in the Hall of Fame. It should have been at least a decade ago.
Yeah, Torrey
That's
Holt.
my pick.
I think he's number one on the list.
When we talk about Hall of Fame wide receivers, and when they even go current guys, there's no one that should be in the Hall of Fame at the wide receiver position until Torrey Holt is in, with save Larry Fitzgerald.
Is that because he played for the Rams, Felix?
No, it's because he was second in all of the receivers, behind only Jerry Rice in receiving yards by the time he retired. And they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he retired in 2009. I think Marvin Harrison was ahead of him. Harrison retired in 2008. He's got a few more yards,
Okay,
but yeah, he was up
number
there.
3.
Yeah.
You know I don't like numbers.
James Lofton. But yeah, no, it's well taken, right? He was on The Greatest Show on Turf. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, made a first-team All-Pro. I think he should be in there.
Now, Felix, the question Sasha gave me yesterday is that if I had to choose right now, both of these players retire today, who do I put in first? Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams? Take your pick.
Tyreek Hill. And I'm not even saying that because of his Chiefs career. He almost had 2,000 yards as a wide receiver. And we haven't seen that since Megatron. He's 5'10".
Yeah.
That's all.
It's close. I think that the numbers, I think, bear it out, right? Like, he had a little higher score than Devontae Adams.
That's how dominant Tyreek Hill was. And it was. Because...
Yeah, it was. He can't step on his knee.
Megatron. He was dominant like Megatron at one point, and that's what some people don't realize.
He wasn't dominant like Megatron, but
I
think his speed.
Dominant like Megatron.
His speed was the most like game changing.
Yeah, he wasn't as
years.
big as Megatron, but his speed was like I agree with Felix on this that he was dominant. Like, he has more. He's been a first team All Pro more times than Megatron. He has the same number of yards in his career as Megatron. Like, Megatron was a huge human being, and people thought that was cool. But, like, Megatron didn't have seasons like Tyreek Hill did. I don't think. I'm not even looking at the stats, but I think I would have remembered if Megatron had the one year for 1964. Yeah, he had the 1 year, but Tyreek Hill has like 3 over 1,700.
Tyreek here's his case. He's the fastest NFL wide receiver to ever do it. I think even faster than, sorry, Randy. I do think Tyreek, and to be honest, Felix, yesterday I did answer the question. I said if it was today, I would take Tyreek Hill over Devontae. I agreed with you. However, I did say if you factor in maybe this upcoming season, Devontae Adams is a touchdown machine, dude. He even had a touchdown per game last year, which is crazy. Even when you factor in Puka Nakua's on that team, Kyron Williams. I think the Rams are going to have a lot of big leads and coast to victory this year. Yes, but he's a wide receiver, and he still showed up at the postseason, Felix. I mean,
he's a wide receiver with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback too. Why didn't they win a Super Bowl together?
That's a good question. But it's not on Devontae. I don't think I put that on Devontae Adams.
I'm starting to think some of the Lions not getting it together was Megatron's fault.
Yeah, it could have been, right? Stafford was there. He won a Super Bowl after he left.
Super Bowls and
no, the Lions were only a couple years removed from going 0-16, Felix.
Should you and I go to Calvin Johnson's house and take his gold jacket away?
I think we should take his gold jacket away.
Yeah. He only played 8 years.
We should go
9
get
years.
his gold jacket.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think we should knock on his door and get Calvin Johnson's gold jacket from him.
What about Devontae versus DeAndre? You think D-Hop has any shot?
D-Hop would have had a shot. No, he wouldn't have. There's kind of a spectrum for wide receivers for me, where it's like, was he really good or was he truly great? And like the truly great is obviously like Larry Fitzgerald, Jerry Rice, like that end of the spectrum. And like, was he just really good? That's like Odell. He was really good. Like for a couple of years, he was really, really good. And unfortunately, I think DeAndre Hopkins falls more into that category. Although I think he was a better football player, more talented than Odell. But it was like 3-4 years where I was like, no, he was really, really good. And then he was just kind of like, what else from DeAndre Hopkins? And he kept getting hurt at the end of the career. And that's just kind of where we are. But then, like your case with Devontae Adams earlier is just like, no, he's a touchdown machine, but also I think he has, the resume that backs it up even larger than DeAndre's. DeAndre's.
Odell is great at getting Instagram followers. I will say that.
Yeah.
He's fantastic at getting Instagram followers.
More
that
than
should be a
Mahomes.
Hall of Fame stat.
Wow.
Not though.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to automatically disqualify anyone who played before and retired before 2008.
Look, it's tough for old D-Hop when you got Tom Savage and T.J. Yates throwing them the football.
Yeah.
Ask Larry Fitzgerald how it's doing.
Yeah, but Larry just played longer. I don't think people were talking about Larry year in, year out. Is he the best
Larry
wide receiver in the game?
What a young Matt Leinart was throwing the football like.
Second all-time in receiving yards, Larry Fitzgerald.
No doubt. Larry's getting in, but we could debate these guys all day. We'll talk tight ends next segment. He is Felix Johnson from the Let's Talk Ball podcast. Felix, you're the man.
Hearts and kisses.
See you, buddy.
Oh, dude. We'll be back.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's Sports Station, KGSO.
Test drive a Grasshopper mower at Maximum Outdoor Equipment and Service. Grasshopper mowers offer decks with powerful and reliable operation, unmatched comfort, and a legendary cut that leaves your lawn smooth and manicured every time. Grasshopper mowers, committed to the cut. Visit Maximum Outdoor Equipment, south of 21st and Andover Road, or south of Kellogg on West Street, or MaximumOutdoor.com. We know mowers.
Maximum Outdoor Equipment.
Friday nights in Wichita mean one thing. Our kids, our teams, our lights on that field. Renewal by Anderson is proud to help light up Friday night lights across the Wichita area because we believe in the same things this community does. Craftsmanship, pride, and showing up for what matters. So this season, cheer loud, and when you're ready to bring that same hometown quality home to your windows and doors, call Renewal by Anderson of Wichita. Renewal by Anderson, proud supporter of Wichita area Friday night lights.
Professional excavators and homeowners, safety always comes first, and safe digging is no accident. So before you begin your next digging project, remember to call Kansas 811 to have your underground utility lines marked for free. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig. So play it safe, put down the shovel, pick up the phone, and call 811 first. This message is brought to you by Kansas 811, reminding you that no matter if your digging project is big or small, don't make a judgment call. Always call 811 before you dig.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road. Ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Kansas knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KGSO Studio, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. Find them online at renewalbyanderson.com. KGSO has a new app. Listen online, call the shows, and register to win big prizes by finding the SC Wichita app in your app store.
Oh, man, going back in the memory bank, Felix Johnson from the Let's Talk Ball podcast. Always a blast to have him on. Hey, you might hear him on a Thursday, might hear him on a Friday. Whenever we need him, we're going to call Felix Johnson. He is the man. Oh, dude, Sasha Bushka, Jacob Zimmerman here on the press box on KGSO. we kind of pushed back our Hall of Fame series. We talked plenty of Hall of Famers there in the 5 o'clock. We, of course, had the Hall of Fame game tonight. But throughout the series, we've been talking, quarterbacks Monday, running backs on Tuesday. I kind of stirred the pot a little bit. Gail Sayers got someone to call in about that. I questioned his Hall of Fame legitimacy. I might question someone else's Hall of Fame legitimacy here with a tight end group. You never know. 522-1410, the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines are back open. Drop your comments as well. We actually did get one from Tim. It just popped up. Tim, what's up? Fastest receiver ever, Bob Hayes, says, hold my beer. Maybe.
Bob Hayes, yeah. That guy, is that like Willie Mays Hayes from Major League's older brother? It must be. Bob Hayes. I'll look. I'll try to find some black and white film of him.
Bob Hayes has a Hall of Fame score of 57, by the way. But he only had 7,400 yards. Look, that guy can fly, but...
What years did he play?
65 through 75. I think that says a lot. And look, Tyreek Hill, when you're literally showing track and field Olympic footage and you're showing Tyreek like right in line with the guys who finished like 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean, the guy has otherworldly speed. There's a route where Tyreek Hill doesn't play football and kind of just goes on and represents Team USA in the Olympics.
You know what, Tim? Bob Hayes might say hold my beer to Tyreek Hill, but it's only because Tyreek Hill could probably hold the beer and beat him in a race with the beer in his hand while they raced. So I'll just say that.
Forrest Gump would beat him all in a race anyway. So
Forrest Gump is not looking back.
No. No, He's not. He doesn't know when to stop. The cheerleader's got to tackle this guy before he gets to the tunnel. All right, Sasha.
Tim says Bob Hayes has an Olympic gold medal, so I'll give him that. But I still think Tyreek Hill could beat him in a race, especially now.
Marshawn Lynch, hold my...
Yeah, I know what Marshawn Lynch says. Yeah, I know what he says. Devin, that's just like second day in a row you've typed that on our Facebook feed. We know what Marshawn Lynch says. Let's just not type it on our Facebook feed.
One of these days, Devin
anymore.
is going to get me to say something I can't say.
Devin or Tim, the two most likely candidates are out there right now.
A lot of power in your guys' hands. All right, the music's cued.
This is a fun one today. This category
involves two Chiefs.
It's just two great Chiefs, top two on the list. Love to see it.
Tony Gonzalez. Travis Kelce. Quick reminder here, the series, Hall of Fame monitor on ProFootballReference.com. Essentially a score for every player's career. Your average Hall of Fame score is a 99, but Tony Gonzalez nearly doubling that up. According to the numbers, maybe he's still the TE GOAT. 195. Travis Kelce's got a score 140. Rob Gronkowski, score 123. Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates, Dave Casper, Jason Witten still waiting to get in. You got some guys below the cuts. Winslow, Newsome, Smith, Mackey, Ditka, Sanders, they're all in as well. But you got some names here maybe to flirt with that could be seeing their names come up here on the ballot the rest of the decade. Even an active player here I think is worth bringing up. Maybe two active players, but let's start here with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce. He's played from 2013 to this year, of course. He's racked up 13,000 yards, and that is third all-time amongst active tight ends. He's, of course, going to get in. I think he's got a strong chance to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. 82 touchdowns in his career, 1,000 receptions. That is third all-time. Look, man, Travis Kelce, he didn't even need Taylor Swift to get this career.
You could slide his numbers over into the category with the receivers, and he'd be going into the Hall of Fame in that category too. And so, yes, I think he's first ballot. I think it's a no-brainer. Him and Tony Gonzalez. We'll start with the Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski thing. Yeah. Kelce's got him cleared by 5,000 yards, and we'll go to the playoff thing. Rob Gronkowski has 4 championships. Kelce has 3. Rob Gronkowski didn't play at all in the playoffs in 2016, which was one of the years that the Patriots won the championship. So he participated in 3 championships, same as Kelce.
Interesting.
And Kelce, it's Kelce and Jerry Rice in every receiving category for playoff supremacy of all time, right? Like touchdowns, receptions, yards. The top two are Travis Kelce and Jerry Rice. And we saw Jerry Rice's score on the other side of this thing. He's a 4-time first-team All-Pro. I would put him ahead of Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez has Kelce mostly on longevity. He played 270 games to Kelce's 192. And Kelce even, I would say he's not going to catch Gonzalez in yards. He's 2,000 behind. He'd have to play 2 more years to do that at least. And so that's probably not going to happen. But in terms of playoff success, he's well clear of Tony Gonzalez. So I think those are the top 3, right, in this list and in tight ends all time is Gonzalez, Kelce, and Gronkowski. But my guy out of those 3 is Travis Kelce. Just on the sheer numbers
you have Kelce as the GOAT of tight ends.
I have Kelce as the GOAT of tight ends, yes.
I'm going to remember that for another conversation. Better longevity, less rings. I'm going to remember that. But I am unsighted.
Whatever. It's not less rings because Gronkowski didn't even play in one of the years that they won a ring. It's the same number of rings. It's 3. 3 and 3. And also, he's performed way better in the playoffs than Rob Gronkowski ever thought about performing in the playoffs. So, whatever.
Sasha is hot.
It's not a longevity conversation. Kelce's peak was better than Rob Gronkowski's.
I'm surprised you're saying that about the peak. Here's why. Gronkowski started 128 games in the regular season. He had 92 touchdowns. Kelce started $185. He has 82. Regular season, I'm giving it to Gronk all day.
It's
but
400 more regular season receptions than Gronk. 400. Okay, like 40% more than Gronk.
I'm going to read some Facebook comments here.
Oh, people get fired up about this. Everybody's always telling me how great Gronk is.
Sasha's got some lasers coming out of his eyes. I don't want to stare into him. Jim, who is the most receiving yards in a single game as a tight end? Is it still Shannon Sharp? He smoked the Chiefs in that game.
Shannon Sharp
also has 3 rings. 1-1 with a crappy Ravens team. Limped them all the way. Look, Shannon Sharp is a football legend, man. In career, post-career.
I'll say this, too. I think the rings conversation is mostly a conversation for quarterbacks in this Hall of Fame conversation. But when it comes to Kelce, I factor it in because he's so integral in what the Chiefs do in the playoffs. When your name's next to Jerry Rice in all these categories, that's not a tight end. That's a receiver, the greatest receiver of all time by far. When you start, it's you and Jerry Rice and a wide gap between everybody else, that starts to matter a lot in terms of postseason performance. Also, 11 Pro Bowls to Rob Gronkowski's 5.
I haven't really been able to give my full answer.
And because I don't think we need to hear it. But go ahead. You started reading Facebook comments, so I jumped back in.
I was going to get to the postseason here. I haven't even got to the playoffs, dude. I was going to circle around.
Okay.
You have completely taken the bait. You ate the bait. You ate the hook. You ate the line. You ate the rod. You ate everything. I think I maybe do have Travis Kelce as my greatest tight end of all time.
Good.
When you beat Jerry Rice in a stat, I think you got to throw your hands up in this air and say, what? As a tight end, you have passed Jerry Rice for the most receptions of all time, 178. Here's the thing. Rob Gronkowski was, for a period of time in like the part 2 of the dynasty with the Patriots, like he had an Edelman, but Gronkowski was kind of like the only real weapon. Travis Kelce, even with weapons that Mahomes has had with the Tyreek Hill, and we've seen some other wide receivers kind of get in the mix, Travis Kelce has still stood alone as the premier go-to target for the Kansas City Chiefs. There was a factor, though, of invincibility, inevitability, unstoppable play with Travis Kelce and Mahomes. Travis Kelce and Mahomes have the greatest postseason connection of all time, and I think for that reason, I will give the edge slightly to Travis Kelce. I think his longevity, although you're saying it's really not longevity, I think the more games, the more totals, the more yards he's racked up here, the receptions that you're talking about, I think that helps him. But I view some of these like playoff games individually,
right,
where it was so obvious, especially once they cross the 30, right? They're inside. It's like, all right, Travis Kelce's going to be a red zone target here. and you still can't stop him. All right, game's on the line. 3rd and 10. Mahomes is scrambling. It's just like dolphin connection, right? They're speaking in frequencies underwater about what to do in backyard football. Mahomes is scrambling out to his side. Kelsey just finds an open pocket there, 11 yards deep, and picks up the first down. These two just felt like they completed on a rate in crunch time to the likes I've never seen before. Now, Patrick Mahomes deserves some of that credit, but I do think Kelsey's work in the postseason in recent years, especially when they were going for a three-peat, I'm like, this is a level of consistency in the postseason I don't even know if Gronk hits. I will still stand by Gronk being the better regular season player, but you make your legacies in the playoffs.
Why is Gronk the better regular season player? So that's the funny thing. I think the only argument for Gronk is like if you want to go to the blocking argument, which is stupid because who cares tight end blocking? He's got touchdowns, but he's 5,000 yards behind. He's 400 receptions behind, and like he has a few more touchdowns, right? He has 92 to 82. He has 10 more touchdowns. Like, why is that the all-time decider that he scored 10 more touchdowns in the regular season, which, by the way, is completely wiped out by the fact that Kelsey scored 20. Kelsey scored like 7 more touchdowns in the postseason, so you can wipe that out with that if you want to go to touchdowns. I just don't like if you look at the receiving numbers, whether it's regular season or postseason. Kelsey's been better than Gronk all the way around.
Okay. Tim, I like Gronk a lot more, but my vote is for Mr. Swift. I slightly agree. Sasha's just adamant about it being Kelsey. Gronk nowhere close. I mean, Tony Gonzalez, someone 522-1410, and back his case. Here's the thing. We're highlighting two players who play the same position, but two players who play it completely differently.
Yeah.
The reason that you can give Kelsey the edge is that his numbers and really his play style kind of represents a wide receiver just in a bigger body.
Yeah.
I think the blocking helps Gronkowski. The tight ends to me with a touchdown number, the touchdown number to me is a lot bigger for tight ends than it is for wide receivers. Wide receivers to me is more about yards. For me, tight ends, it's more about touchdowns, right?
But it's not like it's a big
targets.
difference. It's 10 more. It's nine in a season versus 8 in a season on average, right? It's not like Gronk has 150 and Kelsey has 50.
To me, it was the first 6 seasons of Gronk out of the gate where he had 65 touchdowns, and on a per 17 basis, I may have to bring that up slightly. The 17 versus 16 game season maybe factors in a little bit here.
They played in the same era, man.
But Gronk on a 17-game average those first 6 seasons put up 14 touchdowns a game for nearly 1,200 yards. I do think Gronk cannot be forgotten. I'm not going to just roll over here.
Forget.
I think
about
it's Kelsey here by a hair.
Okay.
Kelsey by a hair.
I mean, you look at what the people who vote on this stuff think too. It's like Gronk had 5 Pro Bowl seasons. Kelsey had 11. So the point, and you could say like, oh, maybe Gronk at his peak. They were both first team All Pro 4 times, right? And they overlapped a lot, which means they're fighting for that same one first team All Pro spot, and they each got it 4 times. It's not like it was like, oh, Gronk's peak years were so much better. He was getting first team All Pro every single year.
You don't think it's close?
I don't think it's particularly close. I think like I'd go to Tony Gonzalez as like the biggest competitor for it just because he has a big counting number.
Tony's second?
And Tony has 111 TDs. So if you want to go to TDs, like he's the one who's way up on Kelsey in TDs. The problem with Gonzalez is he never won any championships. He didn't have a bunch of postseason success. Gronk at least like Travis Kelce's the best postseason pass catcher of all time, him or Jerry Rice. But Gronk at least like he's probably next best among tight ends. He's got numbers that are close. The rest of these guys, it's when you look at the postseason numbers, they're not even comparable. So my problem is like Kelsey was better in the postseason. His regular season numbers are a lot better too. So I don't know why people are like, well, I'm only giving it to Kelsey because he has those great postseason numbers. I don't understand that.
For the sake of the argument, I'll say this, and we can wrap it up because we got to hit a break. Gronkowski coming out of retirement after a full season off and putting up 600 yards in year 2020. But then in 12 games, 802 yards his final year, 67 yards per game. I mean, the guy could have still played another season or two and put up solid numbers.
And that's the funny thing, though. It's like, do you get credit because you could have played more or not? Because
I'm not saying that because I'm taking Gronk over Kelsey. I'm just giving him a little bit of credit.
You want to hear
there.
something crazy about these two guys that nobody ever believes?
What?
Yeah, and I like Gronk as a guy, and I think he was a great player. The crazy thing that people never realize about Gronk and Kelsey, they're almost exactly the same age. And Kelsey's still playing this year. Gronk's going to be Hall of Fame eligible next year. So, like, I think that's I don't know. I don't know what that tells you, but they're almost exactly the same age. They overlapped a lot. Kelsey didn't get into the NFL until 2013. Gronk was in 2010, so he started racking up some numbers earlier, but I think Kelsey tracked him down and then some.
So you're maybe slightly appeased that I'm giving Kelsey the nod, but
thanks.
you're
we didn't even get into any of these other guys.
You didn't allow time for it. You were upset that I didn't have Kelsey by a mile.
Jason Witten. He hasn't gotten in yet.
He'll get in.
He's above the average number, but like he was never the best tight end in the league, was he?
It's the same thing with Larry.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
It's Kelsey. All right, don't come after me.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
40 to the 30. The Burners are on.
High school football is almost here, and your one-stop source for all your high school football is your High School Football Guide from the Mid-America Sports Network. Stay tuned in and hear where you can pick up your copy. Catch each team's season schedule, read about each team and coach, and follow your favorite team all season long. It's the Mid-America Sports Network Football Guide, and it's coming to a location near you.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. Right now, Hog Wild is serving up a $5.99 meal that's big on flavor and easy on your wallet. Get a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Want brisket? Upgrade to our tender slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Pulled pork, juicy chicken, and hot links. Everything is smoked fresh, made daily, and piled high. This is real barbecue at a price that's hard to beat. When you want big flavor and a big deal, head to Hog Wild for the $5.99 meal deal today. Great food, great price, great barbecue. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 6 locations in Wichita, also in Derby, El Dorado, Hutchinson, and Salina.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild, get some for you. But don't be late, we close at 8.
Looking for a new-to-you ride? For over 70 years, customers have trusted Rusty Egg Ford with quality vehicles and exceptional service. We have 500 used cars available with 150 Ford Blue Advantage certified. From fuel-efficient cars to tough trucks and versatile SUVs, you'll find quality, value, and selection all in one place. That's peace of mind with every mile. Buy with confidence at Rusty Egg Ford. Visit rustyeggford.com. Family owned and simply the best place to buy. See dealer for details.
Transform your backyard into the perfect outdoor escape with Meadowlark Landscaping and Design. This is Doug Downs, General Manager of Steckline Communications, and let me recommend Meadowlark Landscape and Design. From beautiful custom patio installations to fully equipped outdoor kitchens and cozy fire pits, Meadowlark brings your vision to life. Whether you are entertaining guests or just relaxing at home, they'll create a space you'll love for years to come. Call Meadowlark Landscaping and Design today, 316-880-0227. Meadowlark Landscape and Design, where outdoor living begins.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013, 800-444-2013, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
There's always something happening at Halligan's in Wichita. Enjoy happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Plus, enjoy a different food and drink special every day of the week. From Taco Tuesdays to Whiskey Wednesdays to half-price burgers every Thursday. Great food, cold drinks, live entertainment, and the neighborhood atmosphere you've been looking for. It's Halligan's in Wichita, 1106 South Seneca, and online at Halligans.com. Come hungry, leave happy.
Want to listen to work? Stream us online at KGSO.com. This is Wichita's sports station.
Something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.
Bringing you on back to the press box. Final segment here of the program, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. Watch the show back on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch if you missed any portion of the program. We've had a good one today. We had Felix Johnson on at 5 o'clock. We've been talking Hall of Fame tight ends. Sasha did not slit my throat there in the break for questioning the legitimacy of Kelsey's tight end #1 spot all time, but I'm going to give him the edge by a hair over Rob Gronkowski. Who won when they played head-to-head, Jim? I have no idea.
I know the 2018. It's probably in the playoff 2018 AFC Championship. The Patriots won, and the Super Bowl with the Bucks. The Bucks won, so it's probably 2-0 to Gronk in the playoffs, but. And I do think that will matter one day when you talk about Brady and Mahomes. I don't love that for Mahomes that he lost those two matchups. I don't think it really matters in this tight end conversation.
A little unfair to Mahomes there with how young he was.
Right, it was his first year as a starter. The first one was. The Super Bowl one was not his first year as a starter, and he had already won a Super Bowl. So it just stinks that he lost those two head-to-heads, no matter which way you slice it. But it is what it is, I guess.
All right. Guys, you were saying in the break, Sasha, you're a little hungry. I got a recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
Taco Tico, it's all about the taste.
We got the special at Taco Tico still going strong for the next week. 2 for $5 taco burger, beef sancho, combo burrito. I am a burrito guy. Check them out, 13th and Tyler, 35th and Rock Road, Arc City, Newton, El Dorado, Derby, Augusta, where it's all about the...
Jay-Z, it's all about the taste.
I always forget, man. I need you to tell me 100 times.
It's all about the taste. I'm trying to tell you. All right, I got a question for you. No, you had something. You go ahead.
We got 2 minutes left in the show.
I know. I was going to go back to Gibbs for a second, but...
We can maybe talk about this more tomorrow, but it kind of has to do... It's under the umbrella of messiness in college sports, people trying to make money where... Honestly, ethically, I don't think it should be allowed to be made. Look, On3 is a service, media, data, fan-centric sports company, and they do a lot with college, but especially high school football and basketball recruiting. You hear about them a little bit in the portal as well. NIL, I think their mainstay, you hear about them with high school guys. Basically, they are partnering with Polymarket, a prediction market, and there's kind of a big red flag coming out from this because it's pretty obvious the concern here. You don't want people to be able to bet on high school top recruits and where their school's going to go, right?
I don't want people to be able to do that, but Polymarket probably does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so there's a world where inside information gets out, people head to these prediction markets, place hefty wagers and make a lot of money. Now, there's also like Polymarket, and they're going to want to make money from this, not lose money. There could be a lot of false rumors that get put out and orchestrated by On3 on purpose to kind of lead the prediction market in one way, and then secretly they know, okay, the high school recruit is actually going to choose another school, and so I see a lot of messiness with this. I think there's already too much of that same behavior going on in high school with players hiring agents and, trying to get an idea of what their NIL evaluation is going to be before they're even graduated high school. And look, man, I guess it's unavoidable, but here with this, the prediction markets, there's a reason New York and I think California and maybe even Nevada are trying to shut this down.
Yeah, shut it down. I'm fine with that. We got an On3 contact. Maybe we can get him on tomorrow. I don't know.
If Mason can even talk about it.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. All right. Does it for us. Fox Sports Wichita. The Odd Couple. Calvin Washington. Rob Parker next up.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys. Register to win great prizes. Listen live.